everybody, SonGoshuaku here, and as you can see, I was in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium attending the WWE Royal Rumble 2025, so I'm going to give you the live perspective here in this review. Alright, so things kicked off with Stephanie McMahon coming out, and she got a huge ovation. Always great to see Stephanie McMahon. She's been constantly one of the most entertaining McMahons there has been in WWE, of course, and also basically it's cool to see that she's back in the WWE fold, so we'll see where things go from there. But yeah, that was an awesome thing. And then we kick off with the first match, the Women's Royal Rumble. Alright, so being that I had attended the Royal Rumble live, this was my very first ever Royal Rumble, because it's really cool. I've been to all the big four shows now officially, having attended WrestleMania 33 back in 2017. I attended Survivor Series back in 2019, as well as 2023 and SummerSlam 2023, and now Royal Rumble 2025. So there was a lot of anticipation, and I gotta admit, when you see a Royal Rumble in person, man, it is amazing. Just fast paced, like boom, 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 boom. Every 2 minutes you're going up to count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then out comes someone, and you're sitting back down, and then you're getting right back up. So it was tremendous to experience that. But as far as the Women's Royal Rumble, it kicked off with number 1, Io Sky, and number 2, Liv Morgan. And yeah, you already knew, okay, so they're taking two women who have tremendous gas tanks on them, because of course, with that being said, they're going in there, you want to always know that they're going to pick the women that can go the longest, be able to provide that, and that's what we got. Number 3 was Roxanne Perez. Now, what's really cool about Roxanne Perez here, and let me see, I got it up here on the WWE notes right here. Roxanne Perez went, I believe, let me look here, she went 1 hour and 7 minutes and 47 seconds, breaking Bayley's record for being the all-time most in terms of Royal Rumble length. So no one has withstand the Royal Rumble longer, has been in the Royal Rumble match longer than Roxanne Perez. Huge endorsement. I thought she had a great performance being able to go that long. So that was definitely tremendous to see on that part. And then as we go through here, Lyra Valkyria came out. She got a great ovation. It was good to see her. We had Chelsea Green, so that was cool to see. She got a huge ovation, and thankfully she's spending more time in these Rumble matches than she did when she first appeared in what was at the 2023 eliminated in 5 seconds. From there we had B-Fab, who's been getting a lot more TV time, so that was awesome. Zoe Stark, so I'm gonna say this about Zoe Stark, she didn't get that much of a reaction coming out, being there in attendance at Lucas Oil Stadium. And I thought that was interesting, because if we go back to Ivy Nile, when she came out, she did get a huge, well, I was saying huge response, but she got the heat. People were booing her, which says that what they've been doing with this whole American-made gimmick has been working, whereas Zoe Stark had not much of a reaction, fortunately. But I give these women in Pure Fusion Collective due, because as we go through here, I noticed as we get to more where Shayna Baszler was coming out and Sonya Deville was coming out, you were getting where they were getting that heel heat, constantly being a dominant force throughout the Rumble. So I give these ladies props, you know, even though they're not getting much of a reaction, man, when they came on out there, you definitely saw them getting the heel heat for beating up everyone's favorites. But I can't say that's their fault, really. Honestly, I think you have to book, if you want these women to come off as dominant, you have to book them as being dominant. The Bloodline, the Judgment Day, they wouldn't be seen as credible if they were just always losing. And I think that's something that has to be remembered even within Triple H's booking, is that these three women should be out there. If the goal is to make them dominant, then you make them dominant by winning, and instead of always losing. So as we go down the line here, Lash Legend came out, and she was, man, I have to admit, yeah, definitely seeing in person, Lash Legend, she just towered over a lot of the women, like, man, like Amazon style, basically. Yeah, she compared to it, she was definitely a lot more larger, you know, because she has a much more bigger Amazon, and more like Amazon muscle physique and everything. So she definitely could be the monster, basically, of the women's division division in terms of just how dominant she was. So it was great to see Lash Legend. And then out came Bianca Belair, which was my pick for the Royal Rumble. So I went crazy, the audience went crazy, and Bianca Belair, woo, her whole entire entire performance was very impressive. There's this one spot where she's basically getting in the ring, one woman comes in and she's beating them like boom, 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 and she's like, okay, you want some too? Does a backflip, and it goes like boom, boom, both of them said, oh, you want some too? Does another backflip on the three, it's like boom, boom, and the fourth one said, you must want that work too, does a whole another backflip, and then basically she starts going like bam, bam, beating all four women down in the corner, and the audience was going wild for this, man. This was good. Yeah, Bianca Belair is just so fantastic to see perform in person. I've seen her perform twice, Survivor Series 2023 and more importantly SummerSlam. What was it? Yeah, SummerSlam 2024. So yeah, Bianca Belair is always a treat to watch in real time there and stuff. And like I said, Shayna Baszler came out. Bayley, when she came out, she got a huge ovation. Everybody loves Bayley, of course, especially for what she's done in terms of the women's division. So that was really awesome to see. Next up, we had Maxine Dupri come out. Or before that, number 13 was Sonya Deville, and then Maxine Dupri came out. Like I said, Sonya didn't get much of a reaction, which is a shame because I think Sonya Deville's awesome, especially with the work she did with Mandy Rhodes back in 2020. But for whatever reason, WWE just hasn't been able to try and capitalize off her making, her amazing. She has really good mic skills, honestly. I don't know why. Unfortunately, WWE hasn't done more with her. Maxine Dupri came out and she got a big ovation. Like, Maxine is definitely over with the live audience, and I have to admit, it was cool. I really don't think much of the Worm when I'm watching it on TV because you get so used to watching it on TV, but I'm like, you know what? It's the first time I've seen Maxine Dupri and Otis later on. I'm like, yeah, I want to see them doing the Worm in person and stuff. So when she got interrupted the first time, fans were boo, and I was too. But then, yeah, that was cool to see there. And she did eventually land it. And then next up, we had Naomi. So it was cool to see Naomi. Even though I'm a fan of her older music, the new music still got people pumping. Go, 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 go. So that was cool to see. Jada Parker came out at number 16. It was cool to see her. More NXT love. Piper Niven, once again, that was awesome to see. Natalya, great Natalya. I was telling my buddy SMP, who was in the picture behind me with the thumbs up earlier, I was like, man, you could see an all-time legend in the women's division, Natalya's, for the first time, because it was his first time going to an event. So it was great to see Natalya. Jordynne Grace at number 19. So this is where a lot of people were really angry, because Jordynne Grace was saying constantly, guys, I'm not going to be at the Rumble. I'm visiting my mom. It's her 50th birthday party, and I'm not gonna miss that. And she even uploaded a which at this point obviously was probably a mock-up plane ticket, basically, and it had like all the important information blacked out and everything. But and I think one of the biggest things to remember about this Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, is that you can't get so caught up into what a lot of these stories are saying. I mean, honestly, my whole reaction was, okay, if she's not going to be there and she wants to be with her mother, totally understandable. But if she is and she's just trying to work everybody, then fine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to get caught up in it one way or the other. I'm just going to see what happens, because the best thing is when the show actually does happen. So Jordynne Grace came out to a huge ovation, so it was great to see. I kind of figured she was probably going to be in there. She just signed with WWE, so it was great to see her. Michin came out next. She got a pretty good reaction and everything. Alexa Bliss, number 21, Alexa Bliss. So if you want to know who got the biggest pop in the women's Royal Rumble and who people went crazy for, it was definitely Alexa Bliss. When that countdown hit 3, 2, 1, and the first beat of her themes, dun, 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 already knew who it was, and then Alexa Bliss flashed on the counter, and on the Big Tron, and everybody was like, yeah! I was like that, yeah! Like, man, it was thunderous. I cannot describe how thunderous the reaction was for Alexa Bliss. Man, people were so excited to see her. It had been 2 years to that event. Last time we saw her, she lost to Bianca Belair at Royal Rumble 2023, which unfortunately was also Bray Wyatt's last Royal Rumble, just last match ever, unfortunately, in terms of being televised. And if you remember, they were teasing of her rejoining Bray Wyatt, or teasing her joining the Wyatt Six. What was very touching is if you look at the back of her jacket, it said in red, Fiend Forever. But if you look at some of the light lettering and where it was placed, it ends up reading as friend forever. Of course, a lot has changed with Alexa. I'm pretty sure a lot changed for Alexa Bliss. She's a mother now, right? But a lot has changed in general for WWE since Alexa Bliss was last there. And man, you know what? Unfortunately, one of those things was the unfortunate passing of Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace, once again, an all-time legend of the wrestling industry. And just seeing her, that was very, very emotional to see her give that nod to her friend Bray Wyatt, because they did excellent work during the pandemic era. So yeah, Alexa Bliss came out. Ironically, I don't even think Alexa Bliss was in there that long, only 11 minutes. She was eliminated by Liv Morgan from what I can remember. And the thing with that, Liv Morgan, you know, that I think that's a lot of dream match. You know, you got two girls who are pretty much similar in stature, both blonde hair, both about the same height, both somewhat playing dark characters. I mean, Alexa Bliss obviously a dark character, but Liv Morgan not as much of a dark character, or at least as she used to be, but she can go to those dark places. So I think a lot of people will be loving to see them go at it, maybe at WrestleMania, or maybe she reforms with her friendship and team with Nikki Cross as part of the Wyatt Six, and they go after Liv and Raquel, who will probably soon win the tag team titles. As I expect, I think Bianca Belair is probably going to lose those tag titles soon with Naomi, and I'm hoping for a match with Rhea. More about that coming up, though. We had Zelina Vega, who came out in a tremendous awesome outfit. You know, Zelina Vega is always killing it with the outfits, whether she's very much giving tributes to video games, anime, aka anime. In this case, she was giving tribute to the Divas title, and I'm gonna be honest, I thought Zelina Vega's Divas title tribute outfit looked better than even the Divas title itself. But yeah, that was really cool. But I gotta admit, if she did have the Divas title wrapped around her waist, I think that would have probably definitely added more to the outfit. And then we had Candice LeRae come out at number 23. 24 was Stephanie Vaquer. So it was great to see and everything. Just great to see once again some of the NXT stars. So at this point, you're not getting a lot of surprises until our number 25th entry. Take a break of water, sip of water here for break. All right, so at number 25 came out, you heard Little Kim's laugh. Oh, it's time to rock and roll. Oh yes, Trish Stratus comes out. Now for me, this was awesome, because in the 25 years that Trish Stratus has been around the WWE, both off and on as full-time and part-time, I've never seen her wrestle in person, so this was tremendous for me. Of course, I'm gonna pop to see one of the all-time great WWE women's legends in the business, because man, I never thought I'd ever get to see the chance of Trish Stratus wrestling in person, and here it was. She got a thunderous ovation coming out, and man, tremendous. Once again, I cannot help but give much praise to Trish Stratus. I mean, man, you know, she has definitely aged like fine wine. I mean, look at her, how she looked back in 2000, look how she looks in 2025. Look, and especially look at how well she still moves in the ring. You know, Trish Stratus is almost at, I think, about like 50 years old and stuff, and she's still able to go at a pretty high level. That is tremendous. That is age goals. So yeah, Trish Stratus I thought was absolutely fantastic. Basically coming in here, it was great to see. One of the best things I will have to say about having gone to WWE events since like 2007. Well, I started going in 2007, but 2017 is when I kind of started going on a little bit more regular basis. I've been able to see Bill Goldberg, Sting, and now Trish Stratus. Like, these are three people who I never thought I would have the opportunity, because unfortunately as a kid I didn't get a chance to go to these events, and so by the time I did when I was a teenager, most of them were gone. I mean, Sting was still in TNA, but that was all the way in Florida, and I wasn't going to be traveling to Florida like that, so that was cool. But yeah, it was awesome. Awesome to see Trish Stratus out there. And then number 26 was Raquel Rodriguez. Got a pretty much okay pop and everything, as you probably would expect. After that, next we had number 27, which was Charlotte Flair, and this was obviously one of my two picks to win. She actually got a great ovation. You know, a lot of people are going to be wondering, you know, probably what in the world was the ovation like when it came to Charlotte Flair and everything. And Man, I have to say it was pretty good. Charlotte Flair's whole presentation coming out, they gave her fireworks, which I guess a lot of people didn't like. She did get the grandiose type of treatment and things like that. But yeah, fans were very happy to see her. I was happy to see her because honestly, you know, whether you're a fan of Charlotte Flair or not, the fact of the matter is she loves what she does. A lot of these pro wrestlers, they absolutely love what they do, and when they're injured and that's taken away from them for a whole year, that's a year of their career they'll never get back, you know. And especially for someone like Charlotte Flair, who's aging near 40, you know, I think she still obviously has a lot left in the tank, but you know, a lot of that, you're still in your prime years, you know, your 20s, your 30s, you're still in your prime years, and you don't want to lose that, right? You want to be able to spend as much time, you know, if you're going to take a long time away from the ring, you probably want that to be when you're part-time, when you're coming in. But when you can still absolutely go for 12 months straight, year in and year out, you don't want to lose that time. So I do feel bad for Charlotte in that sense, and everything. So I'm glad that she was able to come back and get things going there. So that was fantastic. Basically, next up, going into where we were, number 29 was Nia Jax. And basically with Nia Jax, what was interesting here in terms of this was she was the monster, and it was very strategic in the way they were utilizing Nia Jax for this. Number 30 though comes out, and a lot of people were hoping AJ Lee, and we get "You can look but you can't touch." Yes, Nikki Bella is back, and there was a lot of talk, basically, of course, on the internet that Nikki Bella was working on a full-time or part-time or full-time deal to come back to the WWE, and so there she is. Now, being there in the audience, it was kind of, I would say, a mixed reaction. Half the crowd was cheering loud, half the crowd not so much. My boy SMP, who was sitting next to me, he was really all psyched. He was psyched for every entrance, and then when he got to that last countdown, 3, 2, 1, he heard "You can look but you can't touch." He ended up going like, and he looked over to me and he was like, gave me the biggest poker face and everything. And I guess on TV there was a VIP section in there where they were watching it on screen but hearing the audio of the actual from the arena, and I guess a lot of these men and women were just sitting right on their hands, not reacting at all, just looking at her come out. And then, like I said, in the audience, it was half people were disappointed, like, oh, and others were like, yeah. Let's be honest, Nikki Bella definitely is popular. Man, I remember I did photography work for one of my buddy's cousins, and she doesn't watch wrestling, but she knew who the Bella twins was, and that's when it really struck to me that, oh wow, Nikki and Brie are a lot popular than I gave them credit for. And so CM Punk, and this goes back into more of what I'm saying about how you can't get too caught up in what the internet says all the time. CM Punk did an interview where he says, "Oh, I know who's going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble, but I can't." And he looks toward the camera and he's like, "I can't say or else I'll get in trouble." And people automatically assumed like, oh, he's clearly talking about his wife AJ Lee. And so everybody was getting hyped up and they're counting, come on, it's number 30, it's got to be AJ Lee. And yes, believe me, I would have loved to have seen AJ Lee return to WWE after over a decade away. Or yeah, I think it's been actually a decade, right? She left WWE or retired in 2015. Would have been awesome to see, and that place would have became unglued. If we would have heard "Light It Up," boom, everybody would have been lighting up their reaction. But until it happens, it happens. That's what I say. You can't get so caught up into all this. Nikki Bella, honestly, knowing people's expectations, I think Nikki Bella would have been better served maybe bringing her out earlier and then maybe take a heel or Nia Jax and bring them out at number 30, get that heel heat. I just think maybe Nikki Bella's pop would have been bigger had she came out somewhere before 30, like in the one digits or the teens or 20 section and stuff like that. So yeah, that was everybody. And at this point, the ring was really crowded. Very crowded, and I was like, holy crap, we're about to see a big giant showdown for sure. And what ends up happening is, I got it right here on WWE's website, Nia Jax ends up eliminating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 women, 7 of which I think was all at the same time. And in that big group mash of women that got eliminated, I noticed someone with green on, and that person with green was clearly Bianca Belair. So I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when I saw Bianca eliminated, having gone into this Royal Rumble wanting to see her become the first woman to win 2 Royal Rumble, the only woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles and go on to challenge Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, my reaction was, no! I let out the longest dramatic anime no. Not like Hank Hill, he's like, no! You know, nothing like Hank Hill, I'll tell you what. But it was definitely a long no! If you had the camera on me, you could do the Bart Simpson pause, click, frame by frame, where you can pinpoint the exact moment that my heart was broken. I was like, man. And I was like, I know what they're doing, because I'm looking at who it's coming down to here. Trish Stratus got eliminated by Nia Jax. I got a lot of heat. It came down to, I believe, what was it? Nia Jax, and it was Roxanne Perez and Charlotte Flair. And this is where you could play process of elimination, because you're like, all right, I know they ain't going to have Roxanne Perez win while she's on NXT. And, you know, they definitely ain't going to have Nia Jax win to go to WrestleMania after that big, long world title reign they gave her. There's only one. And it starts to come clear, rather than put Charlotte Flair in there against Bianca Belair in the finals and play up, oh, man, who's going to win? Or Io Sky. It's clear that I think Triple H and his team, they honestly did not want, I think clearly here, they did not want to play around with the idea of having someone who is more popular than Charlotte Flair. I mean, even Alexa Bliss. You put Alexa Bliss in there against Charlotte in the end. Yeah, you tell me who you think is gonna actually end up getting the big win over there and stuff like that. So I think when we look at things like that, it became very clear what's going on, because it was eventually what was it? I'm trying to remember who was it. I'm doing this without notes, so I'm trying to remember this stuff on the spot. Yeah, Roxanne Perez was still in there. So Nia Jax, yeah, she got eliminated by Charlotte Flair, and that got a huge ovation. And of course, because she eliminated everybody's favorite. So well played, WWE, well played. And then it came down to Roxanne Perez and Charlotte Flair. Let me get a sip of water here for the finals. All right, so when it came down to Charlotte Flair and Roxanne Perez, it was just a foregone conclusion. We knew exactly what was going to happen here, and very similar to how Charlotte Flair won in terms of sequences, how she won in her first Royal Rumble back in 2020, and back in 2020, she eliminates Roxanne Perez and goes on to become your official 2025 Women's Royal Rumble winner. And from there, basically becoming the first and so far only woman in WWE history to win 2 Royal Rumbles. Well, going into this, I knew it was going to come down to 2 women. I had Io Sky in there as my dark horse and everything, but Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. I was like, it's going to be between one of these 2 women, because these 2 women it's going to be one of them going on to become the first woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles, because I'm thinking they're going to easily want Charlotte Flair to go against Tiffany Stratton, and they're probably going to have Bianca Belair finally go against Raquel Rodriguez. Not Raquel Rodriguez. Oh man, I'm all off the way. I'm thinking of the letter R. Going against Rhea Ripley, which is what I want to see. Now, we could still definitely get that match, but did Charlotte Flair have to win the Rumble? No, I mean, but neither did Bianca Belair. They could have given it to somebody new. But yeah, Charlotte Flair wins. It is what it is. So yeah, I would say for me, no, I'm not super enthusiastic about her winning, because I was for Bianca Belair, but I'm not angry about it either. I've never disliked Charlotte Flair. I do think she's an incredible performer. She is my least favorite out of the 4 horsewomen. when you start adding Becky, Bayley, and Mercedes to the mix, but formerly known as Sasha Banks, of course, in WWE. But overall, I'm still cool with it. I mean, like I said, it is what it is. It's cool. If you've watched WWE over the last 10 years, you know how much this company loves pushing Charlotte Flair, and I think that should be the expectation. If you don't want to be left very angry or surprised and stuff, like nothing in WWE's last 10 years of booking, whether it be Vince in charge or Triple H in charge, should tell you anything different. That's what the WWE is going to do. They want to push Charlotte Flair. They're going to do it. Were there other women that certainly got bigger reactions? Absolutely. I think there were a lot of women, especially Alexa Bliss and everything. I think a lot of people probably feel that, Charlotte Flair is constantly getting these world title matches, constantly getting pushed. And, I've never been a fan of the whole multi-reign, because they would have these titles get put on her and then immediately have her drop her off just to pad out her reign. When you have someone like Bianca Belair's title reigns, I think, mean more because of how long she was champion. And even though she had that one short reign, it was quick, but she doesn't have all these world titles to her record. So, like she said, her title reigns are meaningful, while Charlotte's is plentiful, which is something I think Becky Lynch has said as well too. That being said, it is what it is. But yeah, glad that Charlotte Flair's back. Glad that WWE it feels confident enough in her for her to be the Royal Rumble winner and get this big spot. But I think a lot of people are getting bad deja vu, because they're probably thinking, oh, we've been here 5 years ago. You had Rhea Ripley, who was like 25 at the time, going against Charlotte Flair, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be used to elevate Rhea Ripley. It's not. Charlotte Flair wins, and there you go. Versus you have a case here with Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton also was, I think, 25 years old. Is Triple H going to use this as an opportunity to elevate Tiffany Stratton? Or is this going to be used as an opportunity to have Tiffany Stratton do the job for Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair goes on to have this another lengthy world title, lengthy or short, you never know. They're trying to pad that record. John Cena eventually says he wants to win the 17th title reign to shake hands with the person that eventually reaches 18. I do think that person will be Charlotte Flair. She will end up with the most world title reigns out of any man or woman in WWE history. That's exactly how I see that going down. So, like I said, it is what it is. Charlotte Flair wins and goes on, but overall, I did enjoy the Royal Rumble. I actually thought it was better than last year and stuff. I'm surprised, though. No Jade Cargill, no Becky Lynch was put in here. So, I thought they might make some returns here, but I guess WWE doesn't want to. They don't want to separate everything and stuff. They want to still leave enough for people to enjoy. So it is what it is there. That being said, overall, the Women's Royal Rumble was a blast in person. It was great to see my first ever Royal Rumble match, and definitely had me waiting to see what's going to happen in the Men's Rumble match. But yeah, overall, it was fun. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of surprises, but I think that's a testament to the mid card and the main event. A lot of the wrestlers were still getting high pops when they came out there with us being there in person, and so it was great to see. Like I said, for me, seeing Trish Stratus wrestle in person, seeing Bianca Belair, always really good. So yeah, we'll move on now to our next match. Alrighty, so yeah, and I forgot to change the graphic there, but yeah, there she is, Charlotte Flair, the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble. Gotta remember to change these graphics, I'm live here. Alrighty, so we get to our next match, which was a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, DIY, consisting of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Alrighty, so, this is cool. I watched, like many of you, Motor City Machine Guns throughout the years in TNA, and I finally got to see them wrestle for the first time in person at AEW All Out 2022. So it's good to see that I'm seeing them again here at Royal Rumble. Like, I would have never imagined that when I finally get to see this tag team wrestle, it would be in AEW and WWE. Of course, I've seen Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano at a few takeover shows in person, so it's good to see all 4 of these guys get this major platform. Unfortunately, I could say that the match, the crowd heat for this match was low. There was a lot of people getting up to go to the concession stands. A lot of people getting up to go at the what was it, the bathroom. A lot of people using this as the bathroom break match, and well, yeah, I mean, I figured, I thought it would be good to probably put this match on first while the audience energy was at an all-time high. Everybody was ready for the match to begin, because I knew that after the women's match, especially if you have surprises, especially if, let's say, AJ Lee did come out and stuff like that, man, I'm thinking audience is going to be exhausted. I mean, I dang near lost my voice in the first match, and I had to reserve my energy, reserve my voice. So yeah, I was kind of went from going like yeah to yeah, woo, you know, basically during this match. So yeah, unfortunately this match did suffer. I think a lot of people wanted to use this match to conserve their energy. That's what they did. So both teams got they got one fall apiece. It was a pretty short match of 14 minutes on a 4-hour show. So obviously that first women's Rumble match went like 70 minutes. And then from there we ended up getting in the end the last fall, and the in-ring action was good, especially towards that third fall. The in-ring action was picking up a lot, so the audience did get into it quite a bit there. I saw one reviewer actually mention this as well, that maybe this match would have been better off as a 14-minute just one fall to a finish match as opposed to 2 out of 3 falls, because you expect it's going to go longer if it's 2 out of 3 falls. And then from there in the end, though, it is 2 figures wearing black hoodies that interfere, allowing DIY to pick up the win and retain the titles, and then DIY gets beat down, and those 2 figures in the black hoodies are revealed to be none other than the Street Profits, who actually got a big ovation. People are ready. You know, the more times you try to turn these guys heel, and they get more aggressive, the more fans just want to cheer them, because a lot of people are definitely at the point, if you're not going to go ahead and give these guys a separate push and try to push them towards single solo stardom, then if you're going to keep them together as a tag team, then it's about time they put the tag titles on them. It's been what, like 4 years, I think, since these guys held the tag team titles. So I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully the Street Profits get the tag title soon, and hopefully eventually they do get going to some singles push. As we've seen with the winner of the men's Royal Rumble, it is possible to break out, even in this time, possible to break out of tag team division and make yourself a name in the solo division in terms of the upper to main event level. So that's what it was. Overall, it was cool to see these guys wrestle in person. Like I said, you'll see where I rank this in my ranking. Check out my ranking video to see where that goes. But yeah, overall it was an okay match, I would say. It was okay. I think both teams are allowed to do more if they're given the time and stuff like that. All right, and then next we're going to go over where they had a lot of the guests basically interfering. So coming in basically, so there you see Kurt Angle and his daughter. Cool story, by the way. We went to WrestleCon before we went to the Lucas Oil Stadium, and as we were going up the escalator, coming down the other side is Kurt Angle, and I'm like, oh, Kurt Angle, we love you, bro. And you know, I gave him a fist bump, he gave me a fist bump back, and that was about the only interaction I had. But yeah, it's cool. I met Kurt Angle there. Also, for the third time, met up with Lisa Marie, aka Victoria in WWE, aka Tara in TNA. We did get a photo with her and everything. It was great to see her. She's been awesome. Third time meeting her, and man, she just couldn't have been even any more sweeter, man. Awesome. She's always been a fun person to talk to in person and meet. For the wrestlers, I got to talk to Devon Dudley. That was cool. My friend SMP, who likes to take his phrase, "Oh my brother, testify," whenever Cena wins a match, he always likes to troll other people, going like, "Oh my brother, Cenify." And so Devon got a big kick out of that. I even told him, I said, hey man, I'm thankful for everything that you and Bubba Ray have done in these matches, and he was very thankful of that. And I told him that, hey, your Reverend Devon theme, it's a banger. He's gonna make it. Yeah, so that was fun. So it was great meeting these legends, and then now we see why they definitely had to get out of there early so they can get put on camera at WWE. But yeah, it was great seeing Kurt Angle. His daughter, his wife was with him. We even saw right there Mickie James. I did see Mickie James, but I didn't want to go up there because it was getting close. A lot of the wrestlers were leaving, and she already had like 4 people who she was still signing for and everything. But yeah, that was really good to see. Saw RVD as well in person, but he was also getting ready to go and everything, so we see why. So he was there obviously with Katie Forbes and everything. I think that's his girlfriend or wife, I forget. But yeah, he got a huge pop there. They had other ones like I think Ron Simmons and stuff like that, so it was really cool. A lot of the great WWE legends out there and everything. All right, and now we'll get to our next match. Let me take a little break of water here. All right, so for the Undisputed, I don't know why they call this the world title Undisputed when there's two world titles that are supposed to be on the same level, but nonetheless, for the Undisputed WWE Championship, a ladder match of Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. It was great to see that they had the Winged Eagle title there in person and the current modern day WWE Championship. Well, boy, this match was brutal. Audience was definitely on their feet, but this match had a lot more ohs and yeah, like a lot of people like screeching, like, oh, these men killed each other with some bums. This was not a flashy ladder match. If you were coming to see a ladder match where they were going to do all these crazy stunts off the top of the rope, as I mentioned earlier with like the Dudley Boys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, that wasn't about this. This was about brutality, and they used their ladder match just to hurt each other. The ladders. They brought out the small ladders that like I think Hornswoggle was using back in the what was that, the WLC match back in the day. You all remember that one? They were taking some bad punishment. I mean, getting body slam on the edge of the ladder, the very tip back of the ladder, just man brutalizing each other. There was one part and man, it's crazy in being there in person, seeing the body, the actual human body bounce off the unforgiving steel of the ladders. Man, it is crazy to see. You just need good old Jim Ross on commentary talking about, oh, those guys know how to fall, right? They know how to fall. That's a ladder. You know, you gotta love Jim Ross on commentary when he does that. That being said, man, just a brutal ladder match. We got blood from Kevin Owens. At the end, Cody was just bamming his head onto the announce table, man, just going crazy. And then there's a part in the end where Kevin Owens tries to do the package pile driver from the announce table onto the ladder. And granted, it was gimmick because you can see when the ladder breaks in half, they have that red stuff in there and everything, but man, that's still like, it hurts because it does, obviously, because before Kevin Owens goes through there, Cody Rhodes, he reverses it into his mentor. Of course, you all remember when Cody Rhodes first came in there. For those who've been watching since the 2000s, you'll know that Cody Rhodes was obviously the student of Hardcore Holly. That's how they had it exactly in the story before he ended up joining Legacy. And so he does the Alabama Slammer right onto the ladder in between the two, and Kevin Owens just goes right there. But like I said, gimmick, even though it was a gimmick one, it looked brutal because Kevin Owens' head just gets folded up right in the middle of there, and it's like his legs are all and his feet are all the way back here while his head's all under here forward. Like, it looked nasty, and he sold it like death. I'm like, that's it, Kevin Owens is gone. I thought Cody Rhodes, the way he sold getting slammed in the ladder and the way he was just laying there lifeless, I'm like, he's dead. I'm like, that's it. And I'm like, put him in the coffin. It's done, you know, just just figuratively speaking and everything, just in terms of just an excellent job of how these guys sold this match. And honestly, I don't think they had to do much to sell it because that match hurt. It looked like it hurt in person. Like I said, being there in the audience, it felt like it was a lot more ooh than yeah. And so after that, this is when Cody Rhodes goes in the ring, climbs up the ladder, and grabs both championships. Took him a while, so I'm not sure how they had it set up there, but it took him a while. But he got both titles and raised it up. And the audience went wild. Cody was over. Kevin Owens, no matter how much he does the heel, he still always gets cheered when he comes out. I just think fans, and myself included, respect him as a performer so much. What I really liked about this ladder match is it felt realistic in the sense of two guys that really wanted to hurt each other. You think about it. If it's a real ladder match and you're trying to beat the guy up, both of you hate each other, you're not gonna take those ladders and climb up and try to do all these fancy moves. You're gonna take that ladder and you're gonna bam it into them. You're gonna slam them into the ladder. You're gonna want to hurt your opponent with that ladder. And that's what these guys did. I don't remember them doing a lot of high spots or anything. It was just, hey, we're gonna take these ladders and boom, hit you with that. Boom, hitting you with the ladder, throwing you onto the other ladder. Well, I'm gonna reverse this, and then, you know, like he does like the eventual where Cody went for the suplex earlier in the match, and Kevin Owens twists it into that, does that twisting reverse superplex, and then man, Cody Rhodes, I say Randy Orton because I thought he was going to be in this match, but Cody Rhodes just lands right on that ladder, and bam, man, that was huge. And this is where we go into things where it's like, man, it was so brutal. They took Kevin Owens out, and Sami Zayn did get involved in this match, in terms of like basically telling Kevin Owens, get up, but he was being very neutral. He was definitely being non-biased with that, and you see this even cool shot where Cody Rhodes gets on that step and he's just yelling and just bam bam, just letting Kevin Owens verbally have it, like, I told you this is what's gonna happen to you. This is what's gonna happen to you. And this is how you definitely book a defiant babyface that doesn't take crap from anybody. And it was a fitting way to tell that story after everything Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes have been through over the last several months. So I thought it was fun live. It reminded me in the sense of Triple H versus The Rock at SummerSlam 1998. It wasn't a lot of high spots in that match, but it was brutal. They used the ladder to beat the holy crap out of each other, and that's exactly what they did here, and the story was good. Fans were really into it. I do question if some of these bumps were necessary, because, I mean, their backs take so much punishment landing on flat surfaces, so landing on uneven steel surfaces, sounds like, doesn't seem like the type of risk that I think is worth taking, honestly, but kudos to these guys. They put on a fantastic, brutal ladder match by today's WWE standards. They gave us blood, which I think, if used correctly, helps tell the story. And this was one of those stories that kind of did merit having blood. So in the end, Cody Rhodes ends up beating Kevin Owens to a bloody pulp, and that's what's it. And there you go. So yeah, you get that. Also, I will say this, for the level of punishment he took in this, I'd love to hear you all either in the chat or in the comment section watching these videos on demand. Do you think it was too soon to have Kevin Owens come back out there on Monday Night Raw the following night? He attacked Sami Zayn, gave him the package power driver, which is going to obviously lead to either a match in their home country of Toronto for Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania if Randy Orton is still not ready to come back yet. I mean, I think I would have loved to seen Kevin Owens be out for at least a week to actually sell it more, especially if Sami Zayn was going to lose to CM Punk anyway. You didn't have to tell that story. I can see if Kevin Owens was going to cost him the match, but he didn't. He beat him up after the match. So yeah, but they only got so much time because it's March 1st, so they probably want to get on the ball right now with telling the story and everything. So we'll see what goes on there. But overall, yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this match. And right quick too, I'm gonna actually go back here to talk something about with Charlotte Flair. Speaking of it, since I did see the other night on Monday Night Raw, Charlotte Flair, it's very interesting. While she got cheered here in Indianapolis at the Royal Rumble, they were in Cleveland, Ohio for Monday Night Raw, and it's there that Charlotte Flair ended up getting booed, and then she went over to NXT and got cheered again. So you're getting very much of a mixed response here with Charlotte Flair. And my thing I was gonna say about with Charlotte Flair, like I said, I've been a fan of her. It's just I want to see her do something different. I want to see her portray a whole different character beyond, I'm just the greatest wrestler of all time and I'm your queen. Even Roman Reigns changed it up. Her fellow horsewomen have changed it up. So that's what I would love to see at this point. I would love to see Charlotte Flair just do something new, whether she's a babyface or heel. That doesn't matter to me. Just something new. I would love to see. All right, sip of water before we get to our next match. All right, the main event, the men's Royal Rumble match. All right, so number 1 and 2 started off as Rey Mysterio and Penta. Alrighty, so we were going crazy, especially if you're a Lucha Underground fan. I didn't get to really watch it that much and everything, but I am very much aware of the history there from other reviewers, and man, you couldn't start it off any better with these two. Fans were going absolute crazy in the there in the audience and everything, man. You could hear the whole place shaking. What's interesting though, there is a moment where Rey Mysterio does like a hurricane rana to Penta over the top rope, and I guess they were supposed to hang on, but Penta's feet, they look like they hit the ground. It's really hard to see it looked like maybe his toe hit. And I don't know if the idea is, okay, both feet have to hit the ground, whether it's just your toes or the back part or the whole flat foot of your feet. But they apparently did not want to show it at all. So I guess they're just gonna ignore that it happens. So yeah, that was an interesting part, because I heard the audience go like, ooh, at that point. So yeah, number 3 was Chad Gable, and fans love doing the whole "you suck." You suck when he comes out and everything. Carmelo Hayes came out, got a pretty good ovation. Santos Escobar as well got a pretty okay one, kind of mild reaction, everything. Otis came out, and man, fans love Otis. Yes, they do. Otis got a big ovation, so Otis very much still over. Number 7, out comes Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker got a massive reaction. I was like, let's go. Even in the audience, I was like, let's go. And Braun Breaker came in and he cleaned house. Spear here, spear there. Braun Breaker, absolute beast he was. Man, that was something. And then number 8 was supposed to be Akira Tozawa, and he comes out and he ends up getting laid out by Carmelo Hayes, who was also eliminated by Braun Breaker, because yeah, Braun Breaker, he's eliminating him, Santos Escobar, Carmelo. And then out comes basically, while he was streaming, IShowSpeed, and from here IShowSpeed ends up running out, and let me tell you all, man, thunderous reaction, one of the biggest reactions of the night. Everyone was going to that place crazy. I could feel the ground shaking. People were going crazy for IShowSpeed when he came out. So incredibly popular. I said in my WrestleMania 39 review WrestleMania, I'm thinking of the other one from the previous time with Logan Paul. I think that was KSI. But no, WrestleMania 40. In my WrestleMania 40 review in ranking, I said that I was not familiar with who IShowSpeed is, but I did find him entertaining, getting the RKO by Randy Orton. And man, I gotta say, I got a lot of respect for IShowSpeed here, in terms of for him not to be a pro wrestler and do what he did. So he comes in and he helps Braun Breaker eliminate Otis, and he's up here celebrating, dabbing him up, and it's like, yeah, and he does an impressive standing backflip, and then you start seeing Braun Breaker running back and forth. And even before IShowSpeed could turn around, man, you want to talk about Jim Ross always saying, by God, he's broken him in half. That's exactly what it looked like. Man, such velocity that Braun Breaker, he nails IShowSpeed with a devastating spear, to the point that it looked like IShowSpeed body was stiff like this, but his neck ended up going nearly like ear to shoulder of whiplash as he hit the ground. Brutal looking spear, no matter what angle you look at it, man. And then he gets gorilla press slammed by Braun Breaker, who throws him out of the ring onto Otis. And then Otis does a fall away slam to the back and really nails, by throwing him onto the announce table, really nails IShowSpeed there, as IShowSpeed ends up going down the unforgiving announce table into the chairs. And man, I when you look at it, I think he was playing it up really well. The way he was sold, it's like, like he was out of it, and I'm pretty sure that did hurt, especially for someone like him who's not in the ring that much. Looked like a good chunk of skin got scraped off his leg. Yeah, brutal. You know what? A lot of people, I think, especially if you're a 90s kid like me, you might not be watching IShowSpeed. I think he is more so a demographic of teenagers and young adults in their early 20s. So I'm probably not the target demographic, but I'll say this for it, man. When you're not a pro wrestler, to come in there and take that punishment that he did, and essentially take one for the team and really help WWE make their superstars look good, Braun Breaker and Otis look good, how could you not have respect for that, man? He made himself basically a punching bag for those guys to make them look good, because obviously they're going to be the guys that are going to still be here. And he used his reach to help WWE, because they got like over 300 million social media engagement levels and stuff, or likes and everything across all social media platforms. Man, I was in I was going to work, met a coworker who didn't even watch pro wrestling, came to me, is talking about, hey man, did you see that IShowSpeed and Braun Breaker and stuff? I saw a couple that I know that I'm friends with in the grocery store, and they came up to me and they were like, oh, I saw that IShowSpeed and everything. You were there at the Royal Rumble and this stuff. And like, so clearly, I think a lot of people who, just because you're not in this target demographic, I think what needs to be understood here with WWE is that basically Triple H is doing smart business. Triple H understands that, hey, even if I don't watch this guy, a lot of people clearly do, and we have to understand that social media, and it's cool to see that they're recognizing content creators. As a content creator myself, they're recognizing the importance of content creators and how it can help the WWE product. So I think it's all good, smart business and everything. I've seen some of IShowSpeed stuff since WrestleMania 40, some pretty good stuff, and how energetic he is. It's really cool to know that for anime, because I also cover Dragon Ball a lot on my channel. It's cool that I guess he got direct permission from the producer of One Piece to do reactions. So this is a huge step moving forward for those of us that like to use the official anime footage on our YouTube channel as a way to help the anime get more viewers. So it's really cool. So yeah, much respect to IShowSpeed for going out there and making the WWE product look good. That was pretty good. And I saw some of his backstage stuff, and yeah, he's very respectful to the wrestlers, having a great time with them. So yeah, that was really cool. Getting back to the wrestlers though, yeah, some people say, I also heard say that they could have used another person in this spot. I guess that's why they used Akira Tozawa, because they figured, okay, we'll use someone who's not high on the totem pole in terms of the WWE star power structure. I guess maybe that's the reason why they chose IShowSpeed. Another thing too, I believe, and I'm glad he's doing okay and hopefully onto a speedy recovery. JD McDonough, I think he was supposed to be in this Rumble, but he was out. He wasn't going to be able to make it, just like Dakota Kai wasn't going to be able to make it due to, I believe she's going through a concussion, if I read correctly. So they needed something, and hey, why not use IShowSpeed? I just don't know. You had so many of the mid-carders and top main event level guys in this, and then everyone else is world champion. Who else realistically could you have put in here that would have helped WWE get 300 million social media engagement levels across all their platforms? I don't know. I can't answer that question. So if you do feel, and you're out there in the chat or you're on demand, if you feel IShowSpeed shouldn't have been put in this spot and should have gone to another talent, who do you think would have gotten WWE that type of publicity? So yeah, let me know. That being said, Sheamus came out. That was really cool, but I gotta be honest, the music, man, I wasn't feeling the music. I got like was it Michael Blackson, I think, from Next Friday said, I can't get jiggy with this crowd, right? I could not, man. It was like, I felt we were popping for the name or popping for seeing the person on screen, but the music just wasn't in. I don't know what this is they got for Sheamus from Def Rebel, I think. Jimmy Uso came out to a big ovation, so it's really good to see Jimmy Uso getting into his own place, basically, as a baby face and everything like that. Stuff that I think they should have been doing more with him instead of kind of making him go back to what he was doing before in the bloodline. Next up, we got Andrade. So it was cool to see Andrade come out. He got a great ovation and everything. So really good to see him. Looks like he's happy to be out of AEW back in WWE. So that was really cool. See where hopefully he ends up going, because I don't think they've done much with him ever since he had that multi-match series in 2024 with Carmelo. After that, number 12, Jacob Fatu. All right, let me take a little break here because I've been talking for so long. All right, so Jacob Fatu comes out at number 12, and I was going crazy. I was like, let's go, Jacob Fatu. I'm like, it's on, because, man, Jacob Fatu is going to start wrecking house, and he came in there, dude was wrecking house everywhere, and stuff like that. And man, there was even one time they teased Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker, and people were going crazy, man. Just again, like, this is what's awesome, because of just how strong Jacob Fatu, and this goes back to what I was saying about Pure Fusion Collective. If you want to have Pure Fusion Collective get that type of reaction, then you book them like Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu's been booked as a beast, and so the audience acts accordingly. You had Ludwig Kaiser came out, and he was eliminated in like 6 seconds by Penta. I'm like, man, that was crazy. Let's see, in the chat we got SMP. He says he was running it. Oos, yes he was. Shout out to SMP 2390. He was the one sitting next to me during the Royal Rumble. So yeah, man, that was fantastic seeing. What else we got here coming out next? Let's see, number 14. Yeah, after Ludwig Kaiser got eliminated quickly, The Miz came out. Miz always has awesome music. Miz always gets a pop, so it was cool to see The Miz in the Rumble. Next up, after that, we ended up getting TNA champion Joe Hendry. Dun, dun, I believe in Joe Hendry. Dun, dun, however the song goes. All right, so I never seen Joe Hendry. I've heard a lot about him. I have listened to the music. Boy, when you talk about a superstar reaction, yes, I believe in Joe Hendry. That audience came unglued in person for Joe Hendry, and everybody was doing the whole clapping and everything to his theme song. Man, this was history. TNA, the first time the TNA World Heavyweight Champion contracted under TNA, made an appearance in a WWE match. Truly phenomenal, truly awesome. That was fantastic to see Joe Hendry, and he was pretty good in the ring, because I never knew what the guy was like in the ring. I never watched any of his matches, so seeing, I was like, okay, the guy's good. I'm like, wow, okay, he has a superstar reaction. As someone who didn't know about Joe Hendry, this was a great introduction for me. So I heard it took a long time for him to put the TNA title on him, but yeah, he looked really good. He didn't last long, only like 3 minutes and 35 seconds. So they did not give the TNA World Champion for the men as much love this year as they gave the TNA Women's World Champion last year, Jordynne Grace, as much love as they gave her in that match. And this is where things started getting just real crazy from here. So after this, number 16, out comes Roman Reigns, and that old place became even more unglued. We were all throwing up the ones. Like, I tell you, 70,000 plus people were standing right there up with the ones. Like, man, massive reaction. It was just really cool to see. 10 years later, since he first won his first Royal Rumble match, Roman Reigns coming out to a huge ovation, beloved by everyone. Yeah, I think when Roman Reigns got in there, he made short work of Joe Hendry, The Miz, Sheamus, Braun Breaker. Yes, let's talk about that. So Roman Reigns, they even got teased with Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. Audience was going crazy, and Braun Breaker, like I said, Roman was tearing up everybody, and then he came up against Braun Breaker, and they started running back and forth, and Braun Breaker actually, boom, shut down Roman Reigns with a devastating spear, man. And Roman was selling it like, oh, like, man, these what these young boys are doing with the spear nowadays, or is this what I'm doing? Is my boy, the man 0001, who's sitting next to me on the right, he was saying, no, Roman's like, this is what I be making people feel, dang. Man, devastating spear. Crowd was going crazy when Braun Breaker did that, because, man, that was fantastic. Braun Breaker, like, and that was really cool for Roman to give him that spotlight. And so Braun Breaker, he picks up Roman Reigns, and in tribute to the way Roman Reigns, how he speared Batista back in 2014 at the Royal Rumble, only for Batista to reverse and eliminate him, the same thing happens here. Braun goes for the elimination, Roman reverses it and throws Braun Breaker out. Man, that was a fantastic sequence. Really love that. Number 17, out came Drew McIntyre. He got a big pop as well, and like I say, whether face or heel, I've been Drew McIntyre since day one when he was introduced as the Chosen One. So I'm always going to pop for Drew McIntyre. Drew was awesome. Now this comes about to the music. Here's where I'm going to talk about the music. So we're counting down 3, 2, 1, and this rap music that no one recognizes plays, and I would say not exactly hard hitting rap music. The fans go like, hey, huh? and it was like just this huge hush over the crowd. Oh, everybody's face like, who's that? And everybody's looking and like they're just trying to figure out who this is. And we see on the text it starts saying F-I, and it's like got the other two letters blurred out, so we don't know who the heck this is, and we don't know what this music is and who it's for. And then they flash Finn Balor on the screen, a close-up shot of Finn Balor, and people are like, oh, it's Finn Balor, and they're like, yay! Ah! We're all happy to see Finn Balor and everything back. And it's like, oh, okay. And I was telling my boy, the man 0001, I was like, this music is not doing it. Like, what is this? He's like, this is just noise. Like, yeah, this killed Finn Balor's initial pop, and it kind of delayed his pop momentum. If he would have just came out, even Def Rebel, to their credit, I thought Def Rebel did a really good remix of his CFO's theme. If he would have came out with that or the original theme song, one of his past two theme songs, I think fans would have popped for it. But this was not doing it, unfortunately, so that is what it is there. Next up came out was Shinsuke Nakamura, and man, his music, his entrance was awesome live in person. People are still trying to sing to the song, oh, you know, all that and everything, so that was cool. Number 20, things got lit. Jey Uso came out. It's just me, Uso. Everybody was doing the yeeting and everything and going crazy, but obviously the music didn't last as much, you know, because he had to get right in the ring and start going to business. But yeah, dude came out to a massive pop. And I will say this, walking around the streets of Indianapolis, I think SMP's in the chat, he can back me up on this. He was right there walking with me. The man 0001, Aaron Riff, who I also got to meet up with, was always great to see him, of NoDQ.com. He'll back this up too. If anybody that was out there in the streets of Indianapolis walking to the Royal Rumble, the street was littered all over the streets with people wearing Yeet gear, Jey Uso merchandise from head to toe, whether you were an 8-year-old to 80 years old, all age groups, kids, teens, young adults, middle-aged adults, elderly people. I mean, dude, Jey Uso was over. People are buying that merchandise. We went to the superstore the night before, and man, they were so much gear. Like SMP says in the chat right there, yeet. There was a lot of that going on. Man, I should have noticed something that was up too with Alexa Bliss, because there was a whole bin they had of Lily Dolls. They had a whole section of Lily Dolls there. I'm like, that should have been a sign, a telltale that Alexa Bliss is coming back. So yeah, Jey Uso massively over in this Rumble for sure. Number 21, the opposite of what we got with Finn Balor. AJ Styles makes his return, and AJ Styles, he came out to his old theme song. They don't want none, you know, all that stuff and everything. And fans were singing along with it, and he got a huge pop, and I just don't think that pop would have been as big had not AJ Styles, he came out to his newer theme song and everything. So the importance of theme music, you need really popping theme music. When that first note hits, boom, it should be instantly recognizable. There's a reason why we think of when the glass shatters, we think of Stone Cold, or we hear if you smell, we think of The Rock and all that stuff, man. You know, it just hits you and everything. And that was really cool. Number 22, Braun Strowman came out. So it was good to see Braun Strowman and everything. SMP in the chat right here, he looked over me, he said, that's a big mother effer. I don't want to, he's like, I don't want to piss him off and everything. So it was his first time seeing, he's like, he was telling me how even from this distance he could see how big of a man Braun Strowman was. What was surprising is after Jacob Fatu went through this whole tear, Braun Strowman eliminated Jacob Fatu, picked him up and threw him out. I'm like, whoa! I'm like, man, it wasn't a clothesline. It was like a lift you up like a baby and boom, you know, put you right into your crib and stuff. I'm like, wow, I was shocked by that, because I'm thinking that they're gonna have Strowman out for a while to sell that devastating beatdown. That was the most brutal beatdown we ever seen Strowman got. So man, that was something. So next up, Number 23, number 23, of course, everyone knows NBA all-time greatest of all time, NBA legend Michael Jordan is number 23. So, we see what you did there, WWE. Out comes, as my boy SMP would say, oh, my brother, Cena-fi. So yeah, out comes John Cena, and he had a huge ovation. Fans are chanting Cena's name. It's crazy because, let me get some water here. It's crazy because I have been going to WWE events long enough where it was, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Man, now it was basically just people singing along with John Cena, you can't see me, my time is now, man. So SMP says in the chat, yes, Cena-fi. Yeah, so I mean, man, you got things going on there, and Cena just comes out and huge ovation. Times have changed, but a lot of these kids back then, because back then I was like in my early 20s and stuff like that. A lot of those kids were growing up watching Cena and stuff like that. Now that I'm about to, pretty much in my mid 30s, now all those kids have grown up into their late teens, early 20s. Cena's their guy. That's who they grew up with, and a lot of them are going to these WWE events. And I think a lot of people, even my age group, and SMP will back us up on this. Me and him, we do have that respect for Cena. We both give where credit is due and stuff like that. Yeah, I was not a big fan of Cena back in the day with all the I did think he went over way too many times when there's other guys that could have gone over, and he even admits that he was wrong on the SummerSlam 2010 thing with the Nexus and stuff like that. And yeah, Cena didn't really do a lot in the ring beyond the 5 moves of doom for quite a bit there, until around 2014. But I always would admit, though, Cena could put on some of the greatest I think I believe Cena has truly had, even when I wasn't that big of a fan of him, I believe that Cena truly has had some of the greatest WWE matches in history. I love that JBL match he had at Judgment Day 2005. My favorite match in all time in person, in terms of in-person matches I've seen, is Money in the Bank 2011. I was there when him and CM Punk had that classics. So, John Cena, sometimes there's been like hits and misses with him, but when Cena's doing it good, yay. When Cena's not so much, and it's the same old that got a lot of people booing him, I understand that as well. But in this match, I give Cena props. I think Cena's performance in this match was great. I thought he looked good in the match and everything, so I really got no complaints about John Cena. Of course, our boy, the man 0001, he's consistent though. He's still booing John Cena to today. He was booing him and everything, but Cena came in with straight fire. He eliminated Finn Balor, Braun Strowman. And we'll get to Logan Paul in a bit here. But yeah, it started going crazy because it was just like one long, loud, sustained reaction. Because after CM Punk, after John Cena come out comes CM Punk. Fans were chanting to his song and everything. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Cult of personality. All that stuff and everything. So that was great to see. And I was popping loud. I was like, yeah, because that's who I wanted. That was the guy I wanted to see. I wanted to see CM Punk win and finally go on to main event WrestleMania. And then after CM Punk, we get number 25, Seth freaking Rollins, and the crowd goes, oh, like, man, like we were not expecting the big heavy hitters. Even I'm like, oh, they starting us out a little early. I expected this towards the end, but they're giving us all the big main eventers, all the big heavy hitters now. And it was fun. Everybody was singing along the song. All that. So, man, it was packing here and everything. And I will say this is kind of one of the things I felt like there was a lot bigger pops in the men's Royal Rumble than there was in the women's. So that was really cool. And then after that, number 26 came out was Dominic Mysterio, who still gets the boos heavily hanging down. But I don't think he was the most over in terms of getting the heel heat and everything. And I think what's happened is a lot of people have gained respect for Dominic Mysterio. And he's definitely on the cusp of becoming a good babyface. And if you've seen his interviews or how he's reacted with fans, there was a touching one where a little girl gave him basically a sign that says, I love Dominic Mysterio. And he's like, oh, I hope that this isn't... he was saying, I hope that this isn't this is for real. And her parents like, yeah, this is for real, she loves you. And so he signs it for her and everything, gives the little girl a hug, and you know, is just talking really nice and sweet to her and everything and stuff like that. And he's not, you know, not playing up with his heel character. He knows how to play it heel, obviously, when he's on camera or a part of the show. But I think, you know, you see he comes off like a really good guy, and I think he can really measure that into being a babyface. So I think if Dominic Mysterio's booing, the heat isn't as big as it was, I think a lot of people have gained respect for him because he's proved a lot of doubters wrong. He's proved that he can be on his own and everything and not be Rey Mysterio's son, and just come off now as what I believe is he's the guy who just so happens to be Rey Mysterio's son. So yeah, that was cool to see Dominic Mysterio. Number 27, Sami Zayn came out, and everybody doing the music and singing, oh, you know, all that. Number 28, Damian Priest came out, huge ovation. Number 29, I knew at this point where it was going to be, so out comes LA Knight, who still gets a huge popping reaction. But I will say this, in 2023, clearly, when I was walking the streets of Detroit to SummerSlam LA Knight was super over. Like I was always mentioning, it's a yeah here, a yeah there. It was a let me talk to you here and a let me talk to you over there. Now it was yeet here, yeet there, and let's yeet some more here, and then let's yeet some more there. So, I mean, clearly, it is like definitely Jey Uso's gotten more popular than LA Knight, but he's still massively over. I was telling SMP here in the chat, that here you finally get to experience the LA Knight pop. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, because when he got on the apron, everybody was like doing the whole like LA Knight, and he does the elbow. Yeah, you know, everybody was still popping for it. And then in number 30, out comes Logan Paul, who got a huge booing reaction and stuff and everything. So that was something. But man, we got to talk about this ending sequence here. Let me get a little sip of water because still a lot more to talk about. Boy, these Rumble matches are long, but they're so fun. And as you can tell by my reaction, it's fun, man. It's just fun to see in person. It really is. All right, so as we get to our ending our ending sessions here, I have never experienced such a huge, well, first, there's a point where we get, it was before I think Seth Rollins came out, you had John Cena, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns face to face, and man, it's crazy. Man, it's crazy because people were just going huge reaction for these guys. Man, it was like we were thinking like, holy crap, these are the top three that everyone is expecting to win. So there's one point here where Roman Reigns is trying to get out Seth Rollins, and CM Punk's in the corner, and he goes up and he ends up basically switching and throwing them out of the ring. And they are gone. Roman and Seth Rollins have been eliminated by CM Punk. And that whole audience was like, yes! I really was like, yes! I'm like, he got it! He got it! It's over! I was like, this one guy, I saw this reaction. He was like, yep. He said, there's no doubt about it now. Punk is winning. The guy was like, Punk is winning. And that's kind of was like, I'm like, Punk got it. I'm like, they really, I was telling my boy in the man 001, like, they really got Punk going. They making Punk look strong now. They had him eliminate both Roman and Seth. Let's go CM Punk for the main event of WrestleMania. And immediately after that, Logan Paul eliminates CM Punk. Punk's feet hits the ground, and like I did with Nia Jax when eliminating Bianca Belair, I was like, no. Man, my boy, the man 001, he flopped back in his chair and he was deflated. He was deflated for the rest of the event until we got to the end. I was like, no, Logan freaking Paul, you have him eliminate them. And I was like, boo. And once I got past my feelings as a fan, I kind of got back like, oh, actually, that was really well played by WWE. You talk about getting heel heat, because when Logan Paul came out, I was like, that's really good heel heat. That, like, man, the fans are really booing him up. He knows how to play it up really well. And when he eliminated the guy that I wanted to win, and he eliminated CM Punk, that's where I'm like, I'm forgetting about talking about how good of a heel he is to like, boo. So that would, I've never been on such a huge high to a low like that ever in any wrestling event I've attended to in person, man. And that's where it started sinking into me, man. Let's see. Araza, we got Araza Victory. Yo, what's happening? What's up? Thanks for joining the chat, Araza. Appreciate it. Man, I experiencing this live, this is what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, Logan Paul is in here for the Nia Jax spot. They don't want to put John Cena at the end against another fellow babyface who they know the fans are going to cheer, because, man, I'm sad though I don't think we got one face off between CM Punk and John Cena. I wanted to go crazy for the nostalgia. Like I told you all, 2011 Money in the Bank, that's my favorite match of all time. CM Punk versus John Cena. It would have been good to see those guys go at it one more time, but we'll probably obviously get a spot, of course, because CM Punk won his qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber, so we'll probably get a spot of them one-on-one in the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. But man, I'm like, wow, they're using Logan Paul to get the heel heat because he took out everybody's favorites, and now that's going to make fans want to cheer for John Cena. And what's very interesting is the angle they shot here. Seth Rollins, man, he did a double curb stomp onto Roman Reigns. He took this personal and then did another curb stomp onto Roman Reigns on the steel steps, and they had to get CM Punk out of there. I mean, had to get Seth Rollins out of there. The security did, and then CM Punk walked over to Paul Heyman, and I was telling fans around me, like, yo, what if that's the favor? It's a cheap favor, but what if it's the favor? I'm thinking he's telling Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman's going to walk over to the announcer, and she's going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, per the favor that Paul Heyman promised to CM Punk, he has now been allowed a second entrant into the Royal Rumble match. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to feel. On one hand, that would have been super cheap for a babyface to do, but at the other time, I would have been like, oh, yes, that was the favor. But no, I guess we're going to find out a little bit later on what the favor was. And after this, CM Punk gets attacked by Seth Rollins, so he took out both Roman and CM Punk. And at this point, I'm like, are they setting up a triple threat match with these three guys? And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know if maybe WWE, even though CM Punk stayed healthy, maybe they don't want to build around CM Punk versus Roman Reigns only for CM Punk to get injured. Hopefully not, but get injured, and there goes all their marketing. Whereas if they build it up as a triple threat match, let's say CM Punk or even Seth Rollins gets injured, well, hey, we still got plenty of material back and forth between the both of them. And so they do that. And I'm thinking, like, okay, is that what they're gonna do here, or they just want to fit as much star power into this match? So we'll see where they're going with it, but it looks like definitely right now they're aiming for a triple threat match, especially with Seth Rollins having taken out Roman Reigns, and it looks like Roman might not even be involved in a world title match because he's missing Elimination Chamber. So that was interesting. As we get towards the end of the match, and everybody ends up getting eliminated. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Drew McIntyre got eliminated, and he looked angry along with Damian Priest. There at the stadium, I just thought he was just mad because Damian Priest eliminated him, and I guess that's his next program. But I guess they said there may have been a timing issue with Logan Paul or LA Knight getting in the way and stuff, and they kind of brushed each other's shoulders, and that's why the elimination kind of looked like fast paced and awkward and everything. It is what it is, I guess. But honestly, I didn't really read too much into this. I just took it that, hey, Drew McIntyre's mad. If anything did go on backstage, that's for him and WWE to concern themselves with, not me as a fan and everything. So yeah, but if they are going in the direction Damian Priest and what was it, Drew McIntyre, I guess they can build up on how it was Damian Priest who basically cashed in on him last year at WrestleMania. So I guess they can go with that one. So we'll see where that goes. That being said, the last three come down to Jey Uso, Logan Paul, and John Cena. And John Cena ends up eliminating Logan Paul, and it comes down to Jey Uso and John Cena. And I'm like, this is where I start thinking. I was telling my boys SMP and the man 0001 next to me, I'm like, y'all don't think they would, do you? Is there a chance? Because, like, to me, the way it came off, especially with him losing to Gunther at what was it, Saturday night's main event, I'm thinking, okay, he loses to Gunther like that, and everything. I'm thinking basically Jey Uso. They clearly see that he's main event level in terms of reactions and how much merch he sells, and so they want to push him towards that high level, but they don't want to exactly push him over that high level. Keep him right there. So I'm like, I guess they just want something dramatic. But I'm like, what if John Cena actually loses this? So I'm looking at this very intensely, and fans, man, like, as much as they like John Cena, and I should have mentioned earlier, I'm glad we got to see the LA Knight and Jey Uso go at it, where they were doing yeet, yeah, yeet, yeah, and even there was a point where people, when Cena and CM Punk were in the ring, and fans were chanting, well, I thought they were chanting the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," but it was actually "Let's go Cena, CM Punk," which always sounds like the "Cena sucks," and that was really cool to see. But yeah, and my reaction here, they get into the corner, they get over the ropes, and they're fighting on the apron. And I even saw on the big stage there, John Cena gets Jey Uso up for the AA, and he starts mean mugging the hard cam, and I'm like, okay. And I started recording at this point, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna go ahead and have Cena win over here. He's got him. Jey Uso slips from behind him and pushes him, and this causes John Cena to land feet first, right onto the ground, and I was the first one to react in my section. I'll probably upload it on my other social media platforms, and I was like, yeah! And the whole audience exploded and started just going, "It's just me, Oos, day one-ish," and started yeeting everywhere. Holy crap, they actually did it. They had Jey Uso go over the Royal Rumble, and John Cena, no less. And he gets in the ring, and Cena endorses him. Jey Uso spoke about how John Cena basically said that he told him and his brother that when they first debuted is just be yourselves, and the audience will take to you. And he tells them, look at the audience now. Look how they're all for Jey Uso. Man, Jey Uso, the winner of the 2025 Royal Rumble. This was fantastic to see. It really, really was. Man, I did not expect it. WWE got me. I wanted CM Punk, and honestly, I wanted CM Punk to win. I didn't want Jey Uso to win. I wanted CM Punk to win. But I am not going to crap over this by all means. There's been a lot of fan feedback online where there's been people complaining about Jey Uso. And the way I said, and I was on the No DQ review this week, for so long, particularly in the 2010s, how many men and women were selling merchandise like hotcakes? How many men and women were getting huge ovations from the audience? How many men and women were getting real good TV ratings? How many men and women were getting really good social media engagement for WWE? They were clicking all the metrics with their popularity, and because Vince McMahon didn't want to push them, and Vince McMahon and his creative didn't want to push them, they didn't get pushed, and so therefore, they're not in WWE today, or they're so much lower on the totem pole now than what they could have been had WWE pushed them. So here, Triple H does the thing. He sees that Jey Uso, and I think it just got to the point where Jey Uso, he couldn't deny Jey Uso's popularity anymore. Like I said, walking over the streets of Indianapolis, you see it everywhere. Jey Uso was massively over. People had bought his merchandise, decked out head to toe for his merchandise. Jey Uso constantly being very popular. I've talked to people who aren't even WWE fans know who Jey Uso is, and that's something. They're doing the whole yeet. Man, I remember going to my family reunion this past Thanksgiving, and one of my relatives went up to me and was going like, yeet. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you watch wrestling, because man, and stuff. Even one of my cousins, she was saying her favorite wrestler is Jey Uso. So it's like, wow. I'm like, WWE's gotten more popular than I thought, and people know who Jey Uso is. This is great. This is what you do. When the audience is buying their merchandise, when the audience is going crazy for them, when the TV ratings are coming in, when the social media engagement levels are high, when all those metrics are hitting, that is your audience telling the WWE that this is the guy or girl that we want in the top position. And Triple H is like, this is what the fans want. I'm going to give it to them. They gave us a dark horse, a pleasant surprise. Jey Uso. This is what we wanted for so many years. We WWE fans have had to see so many guys and gals who showed they had the absolute potential and were organically getting over, and they didn't get over. Well, now WWE, Triple H, through Triple H and his creative team, they are giving that to us, and that's what's awesome about this moment. That is what's awesome about seeing Jey Uso get this moment. And I can be honest, everybody was happy. There was so much love in that whole stadium. Everybody was happy Jey Uso was winning. I was talking to fans after the shows, we were walking out, who had Jey Uso merchandise on, and he's like, I'm gonna be honest, I want to see. One guy was like, I'll be honest, I want to see him Punk win. It's crazy Jey Uso won, but I'm happy for him and everything. And that's the thing is, I'm happy for Jey Uso, and I'm glad WWE is going in the right direction. And it just goes more to show the importance of this bloodline storyline. Even though the bloodline storyline has pretty much been phased down completely, so many of the top key competitors are still doing big things. Kevin Owens still in the main event of this month. Sami Zayn was still a big crucial part of this Rumble in terms of how he's going to play a factor into that match. There was Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns. So many people came out of that bloodline storyline even much better than what they were when they started off. And so I think this was great. I do agree. I'm not too crazy about another Gunther versus Jey Uso match. So yeah, especially afterwards, I think it almost would have been better to not do that match at at Saturday night's main event and build towards a new match with Gunther versus Jey Uso. But that being said, WWE has a history of doing matches like Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns or Randy Orton versus Triple H, matches that have been done several times, doing them at WrestleMania and giving them tremendous build-up. So I'm interested to see where they go. But it looks like we're headed towards Ring General Gunther versus Jey Uso for the third or fourth time for the world title the second time. So will Jey Uso be able to slay him? So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes for WrestleMania and end up seeing what happens with the other one. Will this get a main event spot at WrestleMania? I don't know, but I'm happy for Jey Uso. He has earned it. He has been organically over for the last 2 years. I was there at SummerSlam 2003 when the whole Yeet movement thing started, and look at where he is now. And he stayed consistently over even with the losses. So that's a testament to how popular Jey Uso has definitely become. So overall, the men's Royal Rumble, absolute fun. The whole Royal Rumble show, man, just was a whole blast. It really was. It was a whole blast to be in person. I'm glad I've been to all 4 big WWE events. I was happy to share this experience with my bros, SMP 2390 and the man 0001. Fantastic. If you're a WWE fan, you've never been to the Royal Rumble and you get a shot, because we live in the Chicago area, so it was only about a 2-hour and 14-minute drive for us. Man, I say go. It's fun. I wouldn't, after that 2002 Royal Rumble, I wasn't planning to ever go to a Royal Rumble with the way Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, I think, however all that booking went down. But Triple H consistently has booked 3 really strong Royal Rumble events, Royal Rumble matches, and it's just fun. It was absolutely fantastically fun. So we're going to move on now to the ranking portion. Let me go ahead and sip of water and everything. I'm going to do my introduction again because I'm actually going to break these videos up into 2 parts and everything like that. Hey everybody, SonGoshuaku here, ready to give you my ranking of every Royal Rumble match for 2025. As you can see, I was there live at the event, ready to basically show you and tell you how these matches rank for me, going through them. So, in terms of being there in person, all right, so we kick off with number 4, basically. DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. So like I said in my review, this match was really good in terms of in-ring action. It definitely had all that. The match could have been a little bit longer if you're going to do 2 out of 3 falls on a 4-hour show, but overall, the match, in-ring stuff, like I said, it carried it. It was fine. Doing like 2 wins apiece and then having DIY pick it up through a tainted win due to the involvement of the Street Profits, who were massively over because man, fans clearly want to see the Street Profits get that win back into the tag title picture. I'm the same way, especially if they're not planning to do any singles runs with them anytime soon. As I mentioned in my review, this match, unfortunately, I think did get harmed by having to follow the Women's Royal Rumble, because you're knowing a Rumble match, you're going to have surprises, you're going to have these big moments that evoke a lot of emotion out of the WWE audience. And that's why I saw people going to the concession stand, saw people going to the taking bathroom breaks and everything like that. They were doing all of that during this match. The crowd heat was down, people were trying to conserve their energy. I nearly lost my voice. I was trying to conserve my voice, so like I said, I was going from yeah to yeah, woo, you know, basically to try and maintain my voice for the rest of the show, because I knew I still had a big men's Royal Rumble match to go through. Yeah, like I say, well, the match was okay and everything. It wasn't bad. There was no bad match on this show. It was only a 4-match card anyway. That being said, I couldn't help but put this at the lowest entry by far. This is the reason why I always say I rank these from least to best, not worst to best, because this match was not bad by any means, but it just, to me, I don't think had enough to stand out among the WWE Championship match and the 2 Royal Rumble matches. So DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns, 2 out of 3 falls, for me, has to be number 4 as the least ranking match of WWE Royal Rumble 2025. All right, coming in at number 3, the Women's Royal Rumble match. All right, so man, so many great fun moments in this Royal Rumble match. Bianca Belair, like I said, she was on fire with her performance. The huge pop that Trish Stratus got, the returning Alexa Bliss, who got the biggest pop of them all. Man, there was so much great fun in this match. We got to see so many great NXT talent. Stephanie Vaquer, Julia. We got to see who else in this match? Roxanne Perez go all the way and break the all-time record for the longest appearance in a Royal Rumble match, going to the top final 2. Even Charlotte Flair, like I said, got a big pop and everything. Nia Jax was used well as a monster. I wish it would have been more dramatic in the end, and I think that's why I had to take this thing down. The Women's Royal Rumble was fun, but I just felt there was nothing really about that final, when it came down to the final 2 and just the way they executed Charlotte Flair winning. I gotta bring it down, basically. It's better than what I thought about the 4th ranking on this list, but yeah, this ending was kind of very anticlimactic. You didn't have this big face-off of Charlotte Flair hanging it up there with Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and I think that's only because WWE clearly knew that these women were going to get bigger reactions than even Charlotte Flair, and they did not want to hang with that. So let's have Nia dump out everyone's favorites and then have it come down where Nia gets eliminated, gets a big pop, and then I guess they felt safe with Roxanne Perez because most of the main roster WWE audience is not yet familiar with Roxanne Perez, so you end up getting that there. Overall though, it was still fun. Like I said, it was my first ever Royal Rumble match I saw in person, and it was a blast. It was great to see Trish Stratus, 25 years that she had been around in WWE, both as a full-timer and part-timer, and I finally got to see Trish Stratus wrestle in person. That was fantastic. So yeah, a lot of great fun moments, but unfortunately the ending took it down. Not so much because Charlotte Flair won. I expected her or Bianca Belair to be the ones to win this match. I knew we were going to get, they were the only 2 in this one that were former Royal Rumble winners, and I thought they were the only 2 that had a big shot, because you gotta imagine they're heading towards a Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair match and a Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair match, hopefully. So yeah, I knew Charlotte Flair was going to most likely win, but I wish they would have been more dramatic about that. And that being said too as well, I think a lot of people are hating. They think that it's going to go the same route it went with Bianca Belair, or with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, because when Rhea Ripley lost that match, it took a long time for her to recover, and then she finally got her win back against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39, and I think that's what people are thinking. Is this being done to put Tiffany Stratton on a higher level or bring her down to make Charlotte Flair look good. We shall see. Hopefully this is being used as Tiffany Stratton to go over the main established star that's been over right now for 10 years. And this is going to be used to help make her as she is the future. And I will say this too, even looking back on Rhea Ripley, even if she did beat Charlotte Flair, I look at it and it's like, you know, I don't know if her character work was on par compared to where it is now. Like, sure, she would have been able to give us good matches, but would she really have connected with the audience the way she does now? So by you know, it taking a while, and I thought they could have done more with Rhea Ripley eventually joining the Judgment Day and developing that character was huge for her, and she did get the win, and she did feel like she was on a whole other level when she did beat Charlotte Flair. And then after that, if you look at Rhea Ripley's whole, if you look at Rhea Ripley's whole entire character, the whole entire, I was gonna say, like, if you look at Rhea Ripley's whole time as champion, a lot of people complain that WWE did not build up enough stars to be credible for her, and she didn't defend the title as much, but people still loved her reign because she was carried by her character work. I don't think if you give her that type of title reign, I don't think her character work was enough to cover it back then. So perhaps maybe WWE did make the right decision having Charlotte Flair go over at that particular time, because now Rhea Ripley is able to have that better character work. So kind of looking back on it, but does that mean I want to see it again? No, I do hope Tiffany Stratton is going over at WrestleMania 41 over Charlotte Flair. And if she doesn't, I mean, it is what it is. You all know what to expect from the past 10 years of how Charlotte Flair has been booked. But nonetheless, a fun Women's Royal Rumble match that I think was only really hurt by not having a more dramatic end, even with Charlotte Flair going over. Take a sip of water here. All right, number 2, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Wow, like I said in my review, what a match. This was hard-hitting and brutal, and what I loved about this match, it just had that realism feel to it. It felt like, okay, we're not out here to do a bunch of crazy moves off the ladder and ooh and ah the crowd. We're out here to beat the holy crap out of each other with these ladders, and we're only going to climb up that ladder once the other is left incapacitated. So yeah, that's what I really like. Nothing that's anything wrong with those ladder matches, but the story didn't fit that type of ladder match for the story that had been told by these two, and boy, it was brutal. Like I said, Cody Rhodes landing awkwardly on ladders, especially, man, that when he was got to do that superplex to Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens does a twisting suplex turn off the top rope onto the edge of that ladder. Brutal stuff. Oh man, this thing, they took a lot of brutal punishment. Like I said, it was one of those matches where the audience just being there in person, it wasn't so much about the ooh, or it wasn't so much about the yay, it was more about the ooh, ah, like that was what was going on a lot, man. Just being there in person, seeing the human body bounce off the steel ladders was crazy, and that's exactly what we get here with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And like you see there, for those watching the horizontal version of this video, just the way Kevin Owens landed head first into that ladder, he sold it like death when Cody Rhodes reversed it from the package pile driver into the Alabama Slammer, giving a nod to his first mentor in the WWE storylines, Hardcore Holly, who was also probably one of his first mentors, also probably backstage as well, being that he was a veteran at the time. That was really cool, and I just love how Cody Rhodes had that angry look on his face, climbed up the ladder, grabbed both titles, and there you go. That Wing Eagle title looks amazing, by the way, compared to the new WWE Championship, but that new WWE title's heavy as heck, man. My boy, the man 0001, who you saw in the image right there early on when we attended, he had 4 of the titles with him, and that was one of them. Man, those new titles are heavy. But yeah, it was really cool to see. And what was really awesome, like I said at the end, I love Cody Rhodes being that defiant babyface, showing he's not going to take crap from anybody. The way Sami Zayn was utilized in this, which played perfectly into the next night of Monday Night Raw, where Kevin Owens, like, you know, he clearly beat up Sami because he thought Sammy would have his back, but Sammy played it neutral. He wasn't going to interfere and everything. He showed up in the match, but he didn't interfere. I thought that was really cool. I just wish Kevin Owens would have been out a little bit longer to sell the impact of that spot you see right there in the horizontal version of this video. But hey, it is what it is. But overall, man, this was fantastic. And I think from top to bottom, I got more enjoyment out of this than the Women's Royal Rumble match. Because like I said, the Women's Royal Rumble match, it had some great moments, had some really cool, huge pops and everything, but I thought the ending could have been a little bit more dramatic. But what I must say here, though, that was cool is that Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens went out there, had a brutal ladder match. You got blood, and if there's any time to have blood, you do it in a story like this. And that's what this match definitely delivered on. So much props to Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. To me, easily the second best match of the night. All right, our number one, the Men's Royal Rumble match. Wow, there was nothing on this show, as good as the other three matches were, there was nothing on the show that I think got more emotion out of me, especially being there in person, than this match. I mean, just look at that right there. CM Punk, John Cena, and Roman Reigns. Their standoff, huge reaction. The fact that you had CM Punk, John Cena, and Seth Rollins all coming out one after the other. Man, huge popping reaction. Joe Hendry had a huge ovation. The IShowSpeed moment, tremendous. Like I said, that guy gets a lot of respect from me to not be a pro wrestler and get in there doing an impressive backflip, because I know he is pretty athletic in those ways. But man, the spear he took from Braun Breaker, the fallaway slam onto the announce table that he took from Otis, and how he lost a good chunk of his skin on his leg. Man, he's a game. He was all game and really went out of his way to help make the WWE superstars look impressive on their product, the WWE show, as they will be the ones that will be there the following night. So I can't help but have respect for that. And man, there was so many good stuff. Jey Uso coming out to a huge pop. Seeing him in LA Knight going back and forth. Yeah, yeet, yeah, yeet, yeah, yeet was great. Fantastic. Just the surrealness of someone who's gone to WWE events when it was all about let's go Cena, Cena sucks, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, to now everybody's just cheering for Cena and singing his music. Great stuff. As I mentioned in my review, I have never experienced in person such a huge high and low when CM Punk dumps out Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, eliminating them from the Royal Rumble, and I'm like, yes, CM Punk's got this. And then seeing Logan Paul toss CM Punk out and me going like, no, and getting me to legitimately boo Logan Paul. Boo, man. I never experienced such a, like I said, a huge high and a huge low when it comes to the Royal Rumble, or I mean when it comes to WWE events at all, man. So that was just so fun, and just the way they strategically played it. Like in the Women's Royal Rumble, clearly they were using Nia Jax, get everybody out, and then Charlotte Flair will eliminate her and get the big ovation. Here I'm thinking, okay, Logan Paul's the same way. Get Logan Paul, eliminate all your favorites, and then John Cena will eliminate him. And that did happen, but man, we got down to Jey Uso and John Cena in the Royal Rumble, and I was like, oh, there's a chance they might do it. And when John Cena got him up for the AA, and you had Jey Uso get behind him and push him, I guess I was the first one to react in my section. I was like, yeah, woo, and I was like, just me, Oos, day one is just me, Oos, doing the whole yeeting and stuff like that, man. That was fantastically fun, and there was so much love and just respect for Jey Uso. Like Big E said during the post show, which we actually passed by on our way out of the stadium, it is so hard in WWE to break away as a tag team wrestler, and when you're able to do that as successfully as Jey Uso done, that's impressive. impressive. And there was a lot of hate online, people thinking Jey Uso's not ready, he's not a main eventer, he's just an entrance. But I want to give a shout out to my boy SMP 2390. He still might be in the chat. I think he put it best. He was telling us on the ride home as we were coming back from Indianapolis to the Chicago area. He was saying that when it comes to music, it only takes sometimes the most simplest of notes to create a great music masterpiece. Jey Uso, yeah, he doesn't have the most versatile move set, but you know what? The little that he does, great entrance, great catchphrase, great charisma in terms of when he speaks and how he dresses. It's enough to make a connection with that audience, and it has been enough for the last 2 years. I was there in SummerSlam 2023 when he first started doing the whole yeeting thing, and fans were behind him. 2 years later, they're even more behind him than they have been before. So, as I was saying, they're more behind him than they ever have been before. And so I think it's fantastic that Jey Uso has been able to stay that over, and it means a lot there to see it too. And it's, as I mentioned, if you watch 20 Teens WWE, you know how often there were women and men getting over and clicking all metrics of business, and WWE just would not push them, whether it be just because Vince McMahon didn't want to push them. You know, we've seen that. But here, Triple H sees that, okay, Jey Uso is over, and we're gonna go ahead and push him. Do I think putting him in a losing effort, losing it's clean as a whistle with Gunther was a good decision? I think if you're trying to make that match mean more, you just have him go at it at WrestleMania and do that match, but they didn't. Overall, though, still, this was a fun men's Royal Rumble match. Like I said, so many good stuff. Jacob fought two. Braun Breaker all had great showings. Braun Breaker getting the spear on Roman Reigns was also great, and Roman eliminated him in the same style that Batista eliminated him in the 2014 Royal Rumble. Doing it again here in 2025. Seeing how over Roman Reigns is compared to his first Royal Rumble. I also forgot to mention they broke in my review. I forgot to mention they broke a record with Roman Reigns. If you have noticed, Roman Reigns, to the exception of the 2015 Royal Rumble, anytime he was eliminated by someone in all the other Royal Rumbles that he participated in from 2016 up to about probably 2018, he was always eliminated by the person who would eventually go on to win the Royal Rumble. And clearly, as we can see here, CM Punk did not go on to win the Royal Rumble. It definitely created a lot of questions heading into WrestleMania. It looks like we're headed towards a triple threat match with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. And everything with the way they ended that. So yeah, like I said, there's just so many great moments in this Royal Rumble. I didn't expect Jacob Fatu to get eliminated by Braun Strowman. Yeah, we got Joe Hendry, TNA history, first ever time a TNA World Heavyweight Champion, still under contract with TNA, goes into a WWE match. It didn't last long, unfortunately, but I became a believer in Joe Hendry, having that being my first time I've ever seen him. So that was great as well. So overall, man, the men's Royal Rumble match was just really fantastic. And I really have to say I definitely enjoyed, and I'm glad Jey Uso is getting rightfully has earned this moment. Yeet, he definitely has to get to this moment, and we'll see if it ends up main eventing WrestleMania. So overall, that's basically everything that I thought in terms of reviews and rankings and all that stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and head to the chat room now, see if there's anything. So nothing much that has came up, but hey, SMP 2390, a pleasure to having to see this Royal Rumble event with you and our other brother, the man 0001. That was awesome. Eraser, thank you for coming by as well. Enjoy the chat. Anyone else who watched the stream live on demand, as well as anybody who will be who watched it live, and as well as anyone who will be watching on demand. And from there, I would love you to go ahead and give me your comments in the on terms of what you thought of the Royal Rumble 2025, as well as give me your rankings for the matches. Until next time, you can click on more WWE content there on the screen, and make sure to subscribe and follow me so that way you can get notified, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I release new content. And you can follow my social media platforms all there in the description. Until next time, take care.